The final thing we're going to talk about in terms of pockets is kind of the history of mesh pockets and where they were when I was growing up and where they are now, because the advancements are incredible, but some companies still want to put cheap, outdated stuff into their beginner sticks. So when I was growing up, we had soft mesh, and soft mesh was awesome because it cupped the ball really well. It had a great release, had really great feel. It was excellent until it got wet. Once it got wet, for most players, it would just bag out, and then once it bagged out, it created more whip, it would catch in their sticks, and it would throw right into the ground. So to solve that, companies came up with hard mesh. Now this is an actual piece of hard mesh, circa, 2005. Players would spend hours and hours using shampoo and conditioner to try and soften this up, and it would perform better in the rain. Recently, companies created wax mesh and performance mesh, and in order to kind of teach you about what happened within those times, I'm going to have Greg from East Coast Dyes and Jake from String King explain to you what they were thinking when they started their companies.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg from East Coast Dyes, and I founded ECD in 2011 in my basement with the sole goal of making a better lacrosse mesh. So playing ball through high school and college, I noticed the mesh we had was constantly bagging out in the rain. I was always having to adjust guys' pockets going through college. So when I graduated, I wanted to try and make a better product. Went into the basement and formulated a mesh coated in wax, and that's how we started everything with the mesh and the pockets.
Hi, I'm Jake from String King, and so we started String King to solve a pretty simple problem. When I was playing lacrosse, your lacrosse mesh, every time it rained, would bag out and stretch out, and you'd have to like restring your stick on the sideline. So the issue with wax mesh was that, when it would get really cold, the wax would get really hard, and then when it was really hot, it would get like almost like goopy and soft. So while wax might solve some of the wet weather problems, it didn't solve the problem with like hot versus cold. And we made performance mesh, which is like an all-weather, and no matter what the weather is, your mesh will stay the same and your pocket will stay the same.
So now Greg from East Coast Dyes and Jake from String King not only created great meshes, they also created ways for players to manipulate their sticks by Greg creating YouTube videos where he taught players how to string, and Jake created a U-string platform where each head had a specified way and pattern of stringing the head so that it would perform very well. So not only did they create great mesh, they also helped players to learn how to manipulate and string their sticks. So that's a basic history of where we are with mesh and how it relates to the performance of each stick.